Hello everybody, we're going to talk about population growth in LEDCs. The aim of this lesson is to be able to identify faster population growth in LEDCs. So, let's start. Today we're going to be using a number of maps to understand a little bit more about the population growth around the world. This is a map of the world. You can see the different continents in different colors, North America in red, South in yellow, Africa in orange, Asia in green, Europe in purple, and Australia in pink. Take a look at this map now. Instead of showing the size of the country, this map has been changed to show the population of the country. So this shows the year 1800. In the year 1800, you can see that the largest population was in Asia. North and South America had relatively few people, and Europe also had quite a bit of people. If we move on to the 1900s, Europe starts getting a little bit bigger. So does North America, and so does Africa. Moving on to the year 2000, Asia and Africa continue to get bigger. Keep your eye on the two continents of Asia and Africa and watch how they are projected to change in the next 100 years. As you can see, Africa's population is going to increase. Asia's population will also increase, but at a slower rate. Fact: there is uneven growth and distribution of the world's population between different countries. As we saw on the map before, the population of the world is distributed unevenly all over the world, and different countries and continents grow at different rates. Let's look at the world population. At the moment, in the year 2020, there are 7.8 billion people in the world. Around 60% of these people live in the continent of Asia. Around 17% of the world live in Africa. 10% of the world lives in Europe. 8% lives in Latin America and the Caribbean. And even smaller amounts live in North America and Australia. Two of the largest populations in the world are India and China. Let's look at them on this map. So India and China both form part of Asia. Let's look at China first. 18% of all the people in the world live in China. Another 18% live in India. 24% live in the rest of Asia. Fact: most of the world's population lives in Asia. We just saw that 60% of the world's population lives in Asia. That means that out of every 3 people in the world, 2 of them live in Asia. Let's look at the next map. This map shows different cities around the world. This time it does not show their population, but it shows how much their population is growing, their population growth. The orange circles show that the population of the city is decreasing. The blue circles show that the population of a city is increasing. The darker the blue, the faster the population is growing. So let's look at some of the fastest growing cities in the world. Let's look at the city of Hefei. This is one of the fastest growing cities in China. It's located near the coast. In the year 2000, the population of the city was 1.5 million. But in 2020, the population went up to 4.2 million. The population of the city almost tripled in 20 years. Let's look at a city in India now. Kerala. This is found in the south of India. In 2000, the population of this city was 31 million. And this year in 2020, the population was 36 million. So in the past 20 years, the number of people living in the city increased by 5 million. Bujumbura in Burundi. This is one of the fastest growing cities in the world, and it's found in Central Africa. In the year 2000, the population of the city was 0.3 million. But in 2020, its population increased up to 1 million residents. This means that the population tripled. Let's zoom into the African continent. In 2020, the United Nations said these are the 15 fastest growing cities this year. If you can see, all of them are in Africa. Some of them are even in the same country. Fact: continents with the fastest population growth are still developing, like Africa, Asia, and Latin America. As we saw before, the continents of Africa, Asia, and Latin America have the fastest growing cities and populations, and the number of countries in these continents are still developing. With this map, we can now see the rate of population change. Take a look at the legend on the left. You can see that the countries with the highest rate of change, countries that will increase their population between 5 to 10% over the next 5 years, are found in Africa. Fact: Africa has the greatest growth, despite a high death rate. Let's look back at this map. Look at the legend. This time we'll look at the countries with the smallest amount of change, even countries with a negative change, which means the population is decreasing. If you notice, North America, Europe, and even Australia have a very small growth rate. Their populations are increasing, but they're increasing very, very slowly. Fact: continents with the slowest growth rate are developed, like Europe, North America, and Australia, like we saw in this last map. The final check. Look at these headlines. Look at these headlines. Which are false? Pause the video and allow yourself 2 minutes to work them out. When you're done, press play and check your answers. Okay, just in, humans are spread equally around all parts of the world. That's not true. Humans are spread unequally in different parts of the world. Africa is expected to be the continent with the most people in 2020. That's not true. Asia's the continent with most people in 2020. It still has almost 2/3 of the world's population. Largest growing city? Look to Australia. This is also incorrect. At the moment, the largest growing cities are found in Africa and in Asia. Problems in Europe due to countries' decreasing populations. That's true. There are many problems that are caused due to decreasing populations. Okay, remember, geography is everywhere.